As you watch the college football playoff national championship game, you were probably wondering, why is Trevor Lawrence overthrowing so many passes? What is going on with the missed opportunities that this team has? And the main issue is that Trevor Lawrence was mechanically unsound for a good bit of the throws that he was making. He was pressing on a lot of throws, aiming throws, rather than letting them naturally come to him. He was leaning forward on some passes that caused the ball to sail when he tried to put a lot of power in it. And he just did a lot of things that were really not helpful when you want to make an accurate throw and your talent can't overcome bad mechanics every time. Sometimes quarterbacks can get away with it. Like I said, like people like Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, like these great talents where they can just like kind of brute force their throw into some type of great completion, but you can't rely on that. You have to be mechanically sound, and Trevor Lawrence showed us what happens when you're not. So I'm going to show you 3 plays that kind of exemplify what went wrong with him on a lot of his throws that he overthrew in this game. So the first one I'm going to show you is from the first quarter, 9 minutes 53 seconds. And actually, all of these ones I'm going to show you are here from the first quarter, and you see this kind of play out throughout the game. So it's third down here. Clemson is in the shotgun. They go 4 wide, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. T. Higgins is the far right wide receiver. He's lined up one-on-one with Christian Fulton. They were on this pressure scheme, though, with Michael Divinity, number 91, and Chason on the line. But at the snap, Michael Divinity drops back, and you have Grant Delpit and Patrick Queen blitz from the quarterback's left side. So it's picked up okay, although if Trevor Lawrence didn't get rid of this ball when he did, Grant Delpit would have gotten there. So Trevor Lawrence unleashes this, and the ball is a bit funky coming out of his hand. It doesn't have a tight spiral, and it kind of sails up through the sky. Also notice that T. Higgins released inside, yet Trevor Lawrence throws this ball over the shoulder to the sideline as if T. Higgins had released to the outside. Now, obviously, yes, he wants to keep it away from the safety, number 3, Stevens, who was running over. The problem is that the safety isn't really that close to making a play on his ball, so he didn't have to be as safe as he was with this throw. So he should have put this ball upfield over the shoulder, but not to the sideline. And that way he wouldn't have had to move his receiver so far back to the sideline and make basically an uncatchable throw. And he could have put more pressure on his DB. But that just shows you the nuance that it takes to be an elite passer, in this game. You have to make those tight window throws, those throws that make the difference between actually hitting a touchdown and the throws that become just missed opportunities. The difference between Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence in this game is that Joe Burrow hit those nuanced throws. Trevor Lawrence was not, and he didn't do it consistently if he did. So the play became much more difficult by him not leading upfield over the shoulder and not toward the sideline, but more so toward the end zone. So you need this type of nuance in your throw to be an elite passer, and Trevor Lawrence just did not hit on that in this play. Let's go to the next play. It's the first quarter still, 4 minutes, 16 seconds left. It's 2nd and 4. Clemson's in 11 personnel. And if you don't know what 11 personnel is, so the NFL usually, when they're distinguishing formations, especially ones for running backs and tight ends, they use this first digit to determine how many running backs are in the play. So out of 11, you see 1, so that's 1 running back. And they use the second digit, which is also in this case 1, see 11 personnel, 1 and 1, to indicate the number of tight ends that there are. So if you know that there's 1 running back and you know there's 1 tight end, there's 5 offensive linemen, and there's 1 quarterback, that means there's 8 players on the field who are not wide receivers, meaning that this is a 3 wide receiver formation, otherwise known as 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. So now that you know that, remember that forever. But in this 11 personnel, Amari Rodgers is to the right side. He's in the slot wide receiver position to the right of Trevor Lawrence. Grant Delpit is lined up over Rodgers, but he doesn't cover him. He steps up to contain Trevor Lawrence instead. So Grant Delpit actually pressures a bit by stepping up more into the passing lane and jumping as he advances. So Trevor Lawrence does this awkward leaning forward follow through, and the ball sails over Amari Rodgers' head. I'm willing to say that this might be due more so to the great call and play by Aranda and Delpit, But Trevor Lawrence didn't help himself, because on the very next throw, he missed again, and it just goes to show that this is not just great defensive play by LSU. This is Trevor Lawrence not being mechanically sound, and this is being influenced by how well of defense that LSU was playing. But it just goes to show that you have to rise to the occasion, a lot like Joe Burrow did in the face of the Clemson pressure, whereas Trevor Lawrence seems to have wilted in the face of the LSU pressure. So I'm going to show you that in this next play. Once again, it's the first quarter. This is the very next play. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. It's 3rd and 4. Shotgun, 4 wide. They go trips, bunch to the left, the wide receivers for Clemson. Justin Ross is the far left wide receiver in the bunch, and he runs a slant route. LSU only rushes 4 people here, but they get a nice push on the pocket of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is throwing to Justin Ross in the one-on-one with Derek Stingley. So this is a first down with a mechanically sound throw. With a mechanically sound throw, Trevor Lawrence is throwing a first down on this play. But watch his body as he throws. Trevor Lawrence drops back and slides slightly to his left. So far, so good, meaning he's positioned himself to be in a passing lane where he can get the ball through clearly while waiting for this slant to develop. But upon the release of this throw, he falls away to his left. So not only does he fall backwards, he falls back into his left from the pressure that is coming from LSU pushing the pocket with only 4 people. And when you fall away, the ball goes high. And when you fall away in a certain direction, the ball goes high and in a direction that you were falling away to. So the ball goes high and to the left, and that's why it's too high and behind Ross, who is running a slant route to the inside of the field. So to be an elite passer, these are the nuances that must be executed in order for you to be considered, an elite passer. So Trevor Lawrence, I said this on another video somewhere else, Trevor Lawrence is a good QB with elite talent, but he's not an elite passer yet. And this is why I always tell people to stop overhyping and bringing all these crazy expectations to players after they have success or productivity in the game. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready to be a superstar yet. And not saying that, like I said, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence isn't good, but you have to be careful with how much you heap on a guy based upon, one game, or even just seeing that the team won against a really good team. That doesn't necessarily mean that the player did a lot of elite things. So in this case, as you can see, Trevor Lawrence's main issue on a lot of those overthrows was just that he was very mechanically unsound. And that's something that he has to fix if he wants to be an elite passer and not just a good quarterback with elite talent. Now, I'm going to make some people mad with this video. I already know people are going to be upset with me saying some of these things, but that's okay. I make some fan base mad every offseason, every year. So let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next video.